So I'm stoked to be here. Steve, I love what you said about like the next 2 days really being about like making things happen. Okay? Because the reality is like we're all in a room. Like some of you traveled a long way to be here. So like let's be here. Let's really be here and be really intentional about the time we spend, because some of this stuff may seem uncomfortable or new. Headshots, recording videos, like it's a little uncomfortable. But if you take the time and you do these things when you're here, I promise you, you won't regret it when you get back home. So the title of what I want to talk about today is this idea of making moves. It's no different than making things happen. It's Jim Lovell's an astronaut, and he has one of my favorite quotes. He says, there are people in this world who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and there are people who wonder what happened. And to be successful, you have to be somebody who's willing to make things happen. Okay, so I'm going to talk 20 minutes about what I do in my practice to like make things happen, because it takes effort, right? You got to put the effort in. But you guys, you took the first step. You're here, and so I want to share just like a couple stories that are really special for me, because these are like my patients. Like this is real life stuff. This is like real life. This isn't just like, excuse me, this isn't just like social media or, here's a cool patient that came in, let me tell about her. No, these are people's lives that were like massively impacted in a huge way. People that were traveling down this path in life that wasn't a good path, and that we were able to help like really pivot and like see like a new vision and a new path in life, because that's what we get to do as dentists every single day. Like we may not look at it like that. We may think we're here because it's all about social media or it's all about the teeth. No, this is like about people. So this is January 2017, and I got a message through social media from Kendall. And the message, I'm going to paraphrase, but she basically said, sorry, I'm getting over like a wonderful cough, so you're going to hear me probably cough a few times during this. I apologize. She says in the message, like, Brian, like I'm 22 years old, I go to Arizona State, and I'm at the time of my life where like I feel like I should like really be loving life and out and socializing, but I hate my smile. I don't go out, I'm just super embarrassed of my smile. And at the time I thought, like my dentist brain was like, oh, I should tell her to call the office and schedule, and I'll see what I can do to help her. Because that's what most of us do, right? And I paused for a minute. I thought, you know what? Like, I wonder what she's really dealing with. Like, I'd like to be able to see first, so I know one, if I can help her, and two, like to what extent. And so I started to message her back, like, hey, let's get you scheduled. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to ask her to send me a photo, because with that, then I'll really know whether or not I can help her or not. And so Kendall sends in the photo, and this is her actual photo that she sent in. This is at full occlusion, okay? So this is teeth touching as far down as they're going to go. She's been to 4 different consults. She's left doing nothing after every single consult because, as Steve always says, confused consumers do nothing. It wasn't that she wasn't given good information. She just didn't know what to do. And some of the things that she was told she needed to do didn't make sense for someone at 22 years old at Arizona State. Okay, so I saw the photo and I immediately was like, I can help her. So I started like message her back, and then I thought, you know what, that's like a really inefficient way to tell her what I want to tell her. And so what if I just recorded a video for her and then shared that with her? And so that's what I did. I recorded a video, and I remember specifically because this is like I talk about a pivot point in patients' lives. This is like a massive pivot point in my life as a dentist. Because as I sat and recorded the video, I remember like speaking to the camera, and it's kind of weird, right? Because I'm speaking to a computer screen. She's not talking back to me, but I still remember what I felt as I was talking to her. And as these feelings of like, Kendall, like, I can help you. Like I can really help you, and we don't have to make this really complicated. Like, I would love for you to come in and see me. There's a couple ways we can do this. We can do this with some simple composite bonding and just close the space. We can also do it with a little bit more aggressive, porcelain work that will also close the space, but still be conservative. Like maybe we only have to do those front 4 teeth. It's not a perfect fix, but at least get you like where you want to be. And it'll get you to a place where you can be confident, okay? So I found that as dentist, after years and years of seeing people in my practice, every time somebody comes into your office, everybody wants to know one of 3 things. One, like, can I trust you? Okay, we think of it as just a new patient. We see it on the schedule as a new patient appointment. But really what they're doing is they're there to see, like, can I trust you to do this? If so, what should I do? Like, give me some options. And what do you think the third thing is? What does everybody want to know? What? Price. Everybody wants to know cost. Okay, but what do we do as dental practices when people calling wanting to know the cost? What have we been trained to do? Yeah, you got to come in so we can see, right? You got to come in so we can see what kind of crown you need. That's what we've always done. But when you stop and think about the inefficiency there, like it's the one thing everybody wants to know, and it's the one thing that nobody tells. Okay? I decided in this video just to do it a little bit differently. Like, what if I just like kind of told her ballpark on what the cost would be? So she came into my office, and first, like I want to like stop before I continue this. Like, how many other patients are there like Kendall? How many patients are in this room right now that may be a little self-conscious, their smile, nothing big, but like may have considered straightening teeth, whitening teeth, am I a candidate for veneers? Like any questions like that. But it's like you care, you just don't care enough to take 2 hours out of your day, drive across town, try to start going to a bunch of different dentists to see what the options are. So there's millions of people just like Kendall in the world that are self-conscious. They just have no idea who to trust, what to do, or what it costs. Okay, so I tell her, she comes in, the relationship is there. So what's it like now when Kendall walks in my chair? This is the actual photo that I took in my office. That awkward first 2 minutes when you see a new patient, and you're like, and in my office it was always like so tell me about yourself. I don't know what line you guys use, but for me it was, so tell me about yourself. And it was like this forced building a relationship of trust, but it was very inauthentic in my opinion. Like sometimes like it worked, but sometimes like we're running behind. The communication style is different between people. So it was kind of tough. Well, what I realized right away when Kendall came in, she's like, thank you so much for doing that. Like I've had a lot of time to stop and like think about what you said, and I've got an idea of like where my budget is, and so let's talk about it. So I'm a big believer in my practice. I don't ever talk about things until I show people first what it could look like. And so instead of just talking about it, I said, hey, before we do any of that, let me just lean you back. I'm going to do a procedure that I call a smile test drive, and let's just show you what it could look like. So in about 10 minutes time, I can give her this, and now we can have a real conversation. Right now I sit her up and say, okay, now that you've seen what's possible, is this good enough? Like, are you happy with this? Because we can do this really easily. Yeah, it's not going to fix your bite. It's not going to fix a lot of the core things, but like, I can get you here. I can do it within a couple weeks' time. And of course she's stoked. The coolest part about it is like, you take somebody who is not going out, who has zero self-confidence, and within like 3 weeks' time, we finished her smile. We did 4 minimal prep porcelain veneers, and then this is what she posts on social media. Okay, like a very big difference of no confidence to like not only having a confident smile, but like not afraid to like tell people that she paid for it either, and to tag me in the post. And so this is like my awakening in dentistry of like, man, we could be doing things way more efficiently if we were just really intentional about how we communicate with our patients. So now I need you to like rewind. So this is January 2017. So let's go back to like November 2016. I'm having a conversation with my wife, and I had always done cosmetic dentistry, I just always been a general dentist too. And that day I happened to do 2 smile cases, and we were talking that night, and I was just sharing with her, like, what an amazing day it was. And I'm like, if I could just show up every day and just do smiles, like, how amazing would that be? And she said, well, why don't you? You know, and of course in my head, well, I didn't tell her what I was thinking, but in my head I'm like, she has no clue what it's like to run a dental business. Like, you don't just get to like invite, you know, you can't just like decide, I just want to do the stuff I love doing, and okay, I'm just going to only do that. Like, it doesn't work that way. And she challenged me. She said, no, she's like, the problem is everybody knows you're a dentist, Brian, but nobody knows like what you do. And that stuck with me because at the time I wasn't doing anything on social media. And she's like, well, think about it. She's like, everyone knows like you're a dentist, but nobody knows the type of work you do unless they've come in to see you to actually like have the work done by you. And so I would challenge everybody in this room, like team or doctors, nobody really knows what you do they? Like, unless they're there, unless they've experienced it as a patient, you have neighbors, you have people that you serve on the PTO with at school, you have people you go to church with, you have people from high school, you have all these people that know that you have a doctor in front of your name, but they have no idea really that you do a ton of sedation and you work with a lot of high anxiety patients. They have no idea that you do porcelain veneers or Invisalign. You know, most people are not just sitting at home actively searching the internet, finding your website, clicking 7 pages deep into all that amazing stuff that Perspective helps us with to get the SEO rankings up. Like, yeah, that's needed to be visible online, but people aren't going in there and reading all of that. No, I mean, unless they actually have an issue, they just don't know. And so that's when it changed. That's when my wife was like, you need to just start posting some of your stuff on social media. And so I did. And at the time, this idea of social proof was just kind of taking off. And so I think everybody needs to start with social media. You've got to have a great plan. I mean, that's what we did with My Social Practice. They helped us launch. They helped us get like everything going. And then once we had some cases to share, then it was more about like, okay, how do you combine social media and now social proof, where when people go to your page, they can actually see like, okay, this is something that he does, this is something he does a lot of, or she does and she does a lot of. And so then that transitions over into, like, when you really understand these concepts, how you get other people out there spreading your brand and talking about you. So I'm not going to go into detail on this because Blake's going to do some of this next. And I just heard a little whisperings of some major announcement they're going to share with you tomorrow that's going to make this really easy for you to do, and that I'm stoked for everybody to hear about it. And I won't ruin that surprise. But when you get people out there tagging you and sharing what it is that you do, like, we all know word of mouth is it's the strongest way to get new patients in the door, because they come in with this level of trust already. So both the doctor and the patient like start off in a really good place. So this is just word of mouth. Instead of just like one person telling a friend at dinner and then that friend coming in to see you, this is like one person telling like 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 300 people. Okay, so you want to grow your brand fast? Get people to start tagging you. And there's ways to do that, some really efficient ways to do that. Okay, so what I changed now, after I started posting cases, that was about 2 months later before messages like Kendall started coming in. Okay, and that's why she had messaged me originally. She saw some of the work that I did. She now knew, I didn't know who she was. She was a friend of a friend of a friend, like 3 times removed. She just happened to stumble upon my social media page. So what I changed now is I took that concept of, talking to a patient via video and created a whole software platform around that, so that not only I could continue to do that in a HIPAA compliant way, but now that other doctors can do that worldwide. And the great thing about Smile Virtual is that it is one place that allows a patient to go, type in their name, their last name, their email address, their phone number, a photo of themselves, and their emotional pain point of what they hate about their smile. So the marketing brains in the room, who would love to have a list of leads like this to market after? Yeah, I mean, it's like, it makes it so easy, right? Now it's not a matter of like, let's wait for some new patients to come in and like they come in and you have no idea. No, with these people, you know exactly what they're self-conscious of. You know exactly what it is that they're looking for. And so it's a hot lead at the highest level. So now what we do is we funnel all the leads in the practice through the Smile virtual platform, because then I can sit and record a virtual consult for Alexa and like really connect with her and share with her like, hey, Alexa, I can help you. Okay, however you decide to communicate with patients, however you decide to use video, those words right there are the most powerful words you can ever say to start off a conversation of, yes, I can help you. Because that's what people really want to know. So now I can connect with Alexa, do a 5-10 minute consult for free, right? Where I can tell her who I am, I can build that relationship of trust, I can let her know what her options are, and yes, I tell my patients what their fees are before they come in to see me. Okay? It's a little scary for a lot of us at first, okay, but it's the one thing everybody wants to know. I think there's power in owning it. Like, they're going to find out anyway, so instead of making them go through all this, like let's say you put them through all of it, they come in, your crown fee's $1,500 a unit, they thought it was $500 a unit. Who's that a waste of time for? Both of you, right? Like, you just wasted an hour, and I say wasted. Yeah, wasted. Let's call it wasted. Because you wasted an hour of time doing all of this stuff, talking to the patient, and they wasted a lot of their time too. So it's a time waste for both of you. And so now what happens is when these patients come in my office, now I take the same idea of that Smile test drive and showing them what's possible and give them a preview first before we talk about what the next steps are in treatment. Okay, so this is what that looks like sped up. And this is something, we don't have a lot of time to go over this today, but yes, I do this. This takes 38 minutes for a full arch, and it's a technique I teach in my hands-on course, but this right here is the most powerful thing you can ever do if you want to start doing more cosmetic cases. Stop telling people what they need and just like ask them what they want and then show them what's possible. You know, when you can show people what things could look like and then they leave with this and wear it around for the day, like, it's not a matter of like, are they going to move forward? It's more like, when are they going to move forward? Like, does it make sense financially now, or do they need to save up? Okay, so check this out. Alexa comes in looking like this. Within 38 minutes, I can give her that. Okay, flowable composite, that's it. And an Explorer and a curing light. You don't need anything else but a little practice. I can show you how to do this and how to do it like in a really powerful way. So we don't know about Alexa, and this is something that she posted on social media later. 12 years battling severe eating disorder and beats it, okay? She beats it and now has a young baby, 2 months old, but every time she looks in the mirror, she's 2 years out of it, right? But that 12 years, you can see what it's done to the teeth. So every time she looks in the mirror, and she's moved on with her life, she's married, she's got a kid, she's got an amazing husband, but that's all she can remember is that 12 years of like sadness and that 12 years of like suffering. Okay? To see that change and to see her like now, it's fascinating to me. You know, you talk about like going through life down this path and doing one of these, like, it's crazy for me to go back and look on social media. I can see exactly when I transformed her smile, and it's like two separate lives. You know, the one before is like never smiling, you know, the content, the photos. Now I look now and it's almost like, it's crazy. I mean, I was just looking this morning. She posted like 10 pictures yesterday from some event she did with her sister. Every photo, massive smile. You know, there's people out there like this waiting for you. Like everywhere, in every city, in every town. It's just knowing how to get to them. So there's 2 ways to compete on price. Number 1, you just lower your price. This is what we find ourselves doing. Or you increase the value of what you're offering. Okay, when you compete on price by lowering the price, that's like, we see this, right? That's, no, not a $99 exam, x-rays and cleaning. We'll do it for $59. No, actually, now everyone's doing it for $59, so what do you do next? We'll do it for like $19, right? And then I've even seen it where it's like free exam, x-rays, and cleaning. That's okay, like, I get it. Sometimes we have to do that because we don't know any other way to market. But think about the type of patient that you're attracting. You're attracting patients that don't want to pay for things. And then you're like, why didn't they move forward with that crown? Well, yeah, they didn't want to pay for the cleaning. They're not going to pay for the crown. So it's a mindset difference. The other option is like, what if you just like increased your value? What if you gave them access to you via virtual consults? Okay, to me, that's way more valuable and attracts more the right type of patient. Or just give them answers. Like answer their questions for free. Give them 10 minutes of your time and do a small test drive. Okay, if you and I are both doing crowns and our fees are exactly the same, and we're both doing dentistry the same, and we're in the same hometown, like you almost have to compete on price. And that's why you find people kind of undercutting each other. But if I come in, I can keep my crown at $1,500, maybe I even up it to $1,800. But I come and offer all this other value, like the perception of what people get when they come see me versus if they came across to see you. I mean, we can switch it. I'm not putting myself up, you know what I mean? It's just an example. But it's just a different value. The value is totally different. So people can justify paying more for it. Okay, so when value exceeds price, that's when people buy. Like remember that, write it down. When value exceeds price, people buy stuff. So my value journey, I'm going to wrap up. I know I'm out of time. I use social proof to drive leads. From those leads, I send them to virtual consults because now I can connect emotionally with the patient. Once I do the virtual consult, I bring them in for a smile test drive. Value, value, value. Then present fees. Then people buy. Then sell. Whatever words you want to put in there. Provide value first, and people will buy. I want to share a video with you to close.
I am in recovery for a 12-and-a-half-year battle with bulimia, anorexia nervosa. I've been in recovery for 2 years now. It really took a toll on my teeth and it started showing, and just, I have like no enamel in the inside of my mouth anymore to protect my teeth. My teeth are very sensitive and sore all the time. I had gone through multiple consultations where I just got so discouraged and ended up leaving in tears. I just started to lose hope that I'd never be able to get my teeth fixed.
There's so much power in having a confident smile. People underestimate how much confidence impacts how you show up in the world. I have such a big spot in my heart for her, and the little that I know of her already in the few conversations we've had, this woman is amazing, and her life is about to transform in a big way.
It felt like he really got me, and he took time to give me this amazing consultation, make me feel like a human, and really got the points of what I was searching for. So I shared it with my family. They had the same reaction, and I just knew then that he was going to be the one, that I was going to do everything it took to get my mouth fixed. This is more than just putting a pretty smile on my mouth. It's literally going to allow me to be free from everything I've battled, and to be able to be a better wife, be a better mother, be able to give and show the confidence to my daughter as she grows that I have always wanted to give my daughter, and what I used to have,
This is life-changing stuff, and what she's going to go through in her physical transformation is going to really impact her emotionally and personally in a really big way.
Going from having all my teeth pretty much shaved down to having a full mouth of teeth, it was whoa, there's Alexa. Me being able to smile again, I think, just really brought back the piece of me that was missing. He just brought a lot of hope to my life, so it was just super cool to work with him, and he was exactly how I thought he would be. One thing I would notice when I had my damaged teeth was just how people take smiling for granted, and something that I wasn't able to do for so long, and I'm just so happy to be able to do that now. It's made me a happier, brighter looking person. He did an amazing job, so it was super cool, and my family was just completely overwhelmed because they know this is something I've been wanting for so long, and I'm sure it reminds them of, you know, the younger, more innocent me that before all the stuff had happened. You can get through it. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm a living example of it, so.
I could watch that like every day and not get sick of it. And it's, when I stop and like really think about what we're up to in here, like I think you came thinking it was just about like marketing and how to get new patients. And I would challenge you that like, it's not about new patients. It's about connection. It's about seeing things differently when it comes to like how to really connect with people. And the patients are out there. It's just a matter of like, are you willing to do what it takes to connect with these people? And as you go throughout the rest of the day and tomorrow, let's go at it with the mindset of like, it's not about the teeth. It's not about marketing. It's not about new patients. It's not about any of those things. Like, it's about people. It's about lives. It's about this stuff every single day. And that gets me excited. Like, I can go into work every day and do that. Like, that's fun. And the crazy thing is, like, there's so many people out there just like her that has nobody to connect with, and they have no idea what to do, and they're lost. But these are the type of docs in this room. These are the type of teams that'll make it happen, because you make stuff happen. So with that, thank you guys. I am grateful. Jack, Blake, Greg, Steve, thank you for allowing me to come and share a little bit of this with you guys, and I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the day. Thank you.